Hello and welcome to Needing a Meeting, y'all. How's everybody doing? My name is Carol. I'll be your host today. And we have Tara. Hey, Tara.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you. So I clicked the link and then it prompted me to pair my channel. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that I could do that. So, but I couldn't do it because the broadcast had started already. So I'm hoping that next time I can do
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. That'd be great. Yeah, you do have to catch it before it goes live. That's all.
Right on, right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like lead with that. It just came out.
No worries. It's
How are
fine.
how are you doing? And how's everybody doing?
Doing pretty good. The chat rooms, you know what? Word Perfect and DOS, I remember those. I'm old. I'm old. I can
Word
remember.
perfect. I remember word star.
Right on. How are you, Ben?
Not bad. How you doing?
Doing okay.
That's good. I see you got the mighty Tara on.
Roar! I feel mighty today because I did yoga this morning.
Right on.
Yeah. Wait, Carol already asked you how you're doing. I was gonna ask how you were doing, Ben, but that might be redundant.
How I was doing?
Yeah, that's right.
Uh, blah, blah. I'm alive. I'm vertical. Try to keep a low bar. Um, yeah, I'm doing okay. Doing okay.
Right on.
I'm glad to hear that.
Well,
I'm doing
we had a good time over on Conversations with Christy.
all that.
You were there too, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah. My YouTube was messing up, and it kept changing my account. And after it started doing that, it wasn't allowing me to comment. And it's like, well, Mercury in retrograde.
Yeah.
So I saw that happen. So yeah.
Well, good news. Today, I
Can't wait to
believe, is the last day, and then we're in shadow, so it should be better from here on out.
Yay! We hope.
We hope. Yeah. That shadow can be a doozy though too, if I understand correctly.
Oh, joy. That's lovely.
I think I've heard people talk about how Mercury in retrograde can actually be a helpful thing. So it's like all about perspective, being like a mental ninja and respecting it for what it is, but realizing that there could be positive that comes out of it too.
Right on. Yeah, no, it hadn't been all bad in the world, I don't think. Well, I mean, the legacy news would have you think otherwise,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you know, that's
I
why they're being called legacy.
Yes, and that is one thing I have found has helped me immensely is turning that off. Occasionally, I'll go to different websites, but it's almost always the same thing. You just kind of glance at the stories, okay, and then
Yeah,
after a while, you can start to see, okay, what is this site trying to tell me? By stories they put together, and
right.
what's this other site trying to tell me? And it's like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it could be a conspiracy theory, too, and I like
You
conspiracy
know,
theories.
my husband's a big conspiracy guy. He's not as heavy into it as he used to be,
Mm.
but
Yeah, yeah, they
you
take a
know,
lot of energy.
there's some rabbit holes you can go down, and I guess he's decided maybe that's not
I
a healthy hole to go down.
I actually do like studying them. I mean, it's
Yeah,
one of these things where you have the conspiracy theory of the people on this side who are all in, try to chop that off and try to chop the detractors off. Okay, now let's take this argument and this argument, let's jam them together and see what comes out of it. And every now and again, it's like, you know, there's actually a little bit to this. No, other
yeah,
parts like flat Earth. I can't
Yeah.
quite get into that, but
I mean, that is one of the brilliant things about social media is you can make your own news
yeah,
doing, just doing everyday things that, don't hurt anybody.
yeah.
Gee, what a concept.
Hmm.
Yeah, that is one of the things I'm trying to feed my brain, though, is I'm trying to feed it more positivity. It is so easy to adopt a
It
negative.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, yeah, there are things that I don't mean to sound defeatist, but it's like, does my knowing about this affect it? No, it's out of my sphere of influence. Now, sometimes you still need to know, or you still want to know stuff, but after just finding out about it, it's like, well, how is me digging into this going to help me? Is there anything I
Yeah.
can learn from this? Probably not. So it's like, okay, I'll go back to my rabbit hole and dig in it for a while, because that I can, I can learn about that and confuse myself with I can confuse myself really good with it. So that's, yeah, probably better.
Babies and kitty cats, they're always a good go-to.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you guys seen that one short that's been floating around? Um, got so and so in a headlock and took him down because kids can't get married.
I haven't seen that.
Oh,
No.
it's so good. I
Uh,
should have had it queued up.
uh,
And the and the mom goes, "You probably shouldn't do that." She's like, "But it's the greatest thing
Oh,
ever."
baby, baby goat videos. There's something about baby goats. The way
Baby goats are.
they get so excited they can't contain it, and they popcorn and they climb on everything and they push each other off of things. It's like, this is kind of cool. I could watch this.
Maybe I can find it. It's worth putting up.
while you're looking for that, I just want to
Yeah.
give y'all a heads up. I have a meeting with a business consultant. Actually, it's like I'm pretty excited about that, to talk about my peer
Okay.
support agency.
Okay.
And I might have to just like drop off here, but I didn't want to just do it without letting you. I just wanted to pop in here and say hello, and I
Mhm.
love you all, but
Love
I
you
still have
too.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Your business consultant.
I'm meeting with a business consultant. Yeah,
Wow.
in my city, I was looking into tax licenses,
Mhm.
and if you're a resident of my city, then there's a free service. It's a business consultant service for whether or not you're established as a business already, or if you're just in the conception phase, which is where I'm at. And so I am meeting I met with somebody last week to
Mhm.
talk about the logistics of opening a peer support agency and billing Medi-Cal and all of that. So I'm looking forward to today's conversation, because we're going to be talking about marketing.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that's I love the concept of it, but I didn't study it in school.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have to say. The person that I talked with last time, we looked into names, because I had an idea for a name, but we did some research, and she said she's really concerned that I might get sued if I use the name that I had thought of. And I'm
Oh.
not trying to get sued. So I want to help people. I don't want to put myself at risk. And so the consultant that I met with last week recommended that we spend our time today with this other consultant, talking about the business name.
Hmm. Cool.
It's
That's right.
exciting.
That's right. You did post that in the Facebook group. Do you remember which chat you sent that to, Cosmic? Was it meeting? Let's see. Well, heck.
I guess I could
Anyway.
say, well, are you going to continue looking, or did you?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Okay, well then I'll take this opportunity to say that there are so many programs out there to support small business owners and people who are starting to go down the startup avenue. So if you're interested in something like that, I would highly recommend looking at what's in your area, because I'm so excited that this resource is available and it's free.
That
Right
is
on.
good. That's so good that you're taking advantage of that.
Thank you.
I should have known, though,
Ah,
the
thank you.
engineer's coming out, so.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
the beautiful thing is that I know there's so much I don't know. And so I love that there are resources
Sure.
and people who are experts in material that I know nothing about. I'm really looking forward to learning from all of these people.
That is one place where I seem
That's
to live my
amazing.
life on the Dunning-Kruger effect, is that really low valley. I get past the initial spike pretty quick, and then it's like, oh, crap. I know nothing about this. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
the more you learn, the less you seem to know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Um,
Oh, we got it. Or Carol got it.
Well, where did it go?
there it is. Oh.
So they put a headlock down and that's why I took him down.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
That's the greatest thing ever.
What happened at school?
I took a headlock down and Jack and took it down.
You took him down? Why? What did he say?
Because kids don't get married. So that's why I put a headlock down on him.
Did he say he wanted to marry you?
Yeah. But kids don't get married, so that's why I put a headlock down on him. And that's why I took him down.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
That's the greatest thing ever.
Oh my, adorable.
That is the
So
greatest thing
darn-
ever.
So darn cute.
Hey, Christy.
Hey, I just caught the end of that, but that was super adorable.
Put a headlock down. Put a headlock on him. And took him down.
That's how I got my man. I just put a headlock on him and then I threw cheese. So, it was all good.
Man, I gotta start taking notes.
So, Tara, are you going to eventually want to do a startup of your own, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm building
Okay.
a peer support agency. So
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
a one-woman show at this point. I would love to expand eventually, but I am dedicated to getting all the logistics figured out and, understanding the landscape of the space before I
Yeah.
even think about asking people to help me. I don't know what I
Right.
need right now to get support. So I'm going to operate independently for now, figure out what I need, and then kind of go from there. I'm stalled right now because I'm to the point where I'm registering to be a provider for Medi-Cal, which is the Medicaid in California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm to the point where I have to put, I'm at the taxonomy step and I have to input my license number, which y'all know I don't have because I have to pass the Sinkin exam.
Okay.
And so I'm at a standstill with movement in that area, but I'm excited to talk about marketing. Christy, I was just telling him I have a meeting in 5 minutes with a business consultant to talk about marketing for the agency. I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I know. Awesome.
Thank you.
When
I know
do you
very. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering when you got to take your test.
It's going to take 7 to 14 days for them to enter in my authorization into the system. So it might be a couple weeks.
Okay.
Pretty soon at this rate, you'll have people.
Wouldn't that be something? Hey, Tony. Yeah, I'm taking
Hey, you all.
Good. How are you?
doing well, thank you.
Good.
I'm taking notes. Aw,
Yeah.
I'm taking notes from Christy. She's got a producer, personal assistant. I'm like, man, what am I doing with my life? You know?
It's you know, I was very lucky, but you know, that also doesn't come free. So you
Mhm.
know. But yeah, it's good.
I'm still waiting. My doctor, she did a lot of stuff. She works with the Native American communities and things like that. But one of the things that she did was she started her own company. And even though she signed on with the doctors group, I'm still amazed that she has her own site where you can order supplements and drugs and stuff like that. And I can see Tara doing that instead of, Terra Health or something like that, or who knows where this is going.
We're gonna decide on a name hopefully today. So
Okay. And he'll be able to do the research for you and find out if there's any danger of copyright or trademark infringement.
yeah, that's the problem
Okay.
with the name that I chose already, is that
Okay.
it's too risky. It's likely that I
Mhm.
would be okay. I would be able to register for it, but I could be at risk for getting sued. So we're gonna
Okay.
work through that today, try to find something better.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, that's so good though
Yeah.
that came up now, and that you'll be
Mhm.
safe and all that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate
And
that. And I wish that go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead.
going to say one little tip. I had
Mm.
started a candle company with my former business partner, and it was called uh, BK New York. And at the time, it was not taken, and we did not register it fast enough. And then it
Mm.
got taken, and we lost it to a university. It became a dance troupe. So that is never, ever going to be available. So we were working on marketing, we were working on the labels, we had a business plan, we had all of the things, because marketing and business is like my thing. We had all of the things in place, and then by the time it finally got through the state of New York, because we were going to register in New York, it wasn't available. So if you find something and it's available, like, I want to encourage you to try to get that registered as quickly as you can, so that you don't lose it, because it was just an amazing, like, the logo was perfect, the way that it sounded, it was everything we wanted it to be, and then we could never ever get it after that.
Oh my
So we
God.
had
That is
to,
a
yeah,
great tip. Great tip. Thank you
yeah.
so much. I have to hop off so that I am on time for this meeting, but I love you all so very
Love you
much, and
too.
I hope to see you soon.
Yes,
Right on.
Good
have a
luck.
good one. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. Thank
Bye,
you.
Yeah.
Tara.
You too.
How are you, Cosmic?
Eh.
Mhm.
All right.
How are you?
Breathing.
Okay. Well, that's something. As long as we're fogging up the mirror, there's still some hope.
Yeah. How are you,
How are,
Tony?
yeah. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
Yeah.
good. I have
Oh,
a
good. That now I can hear you.
special class tonight. Okay. I have a tonight that I'm going to. I go to it once a month, and we start
Okay.
like I did, like the class 1 class. I'm now in the class 2 class, and I'm really looking forward to it. We meet once a month, and then we have
Right on.
classwork that we do throughout the rest of the month. So yeah, I'm glad to be getting
Right
back
on.
to it.
Is it like an
And we
art
also are
thing
entering the
or?
bond. Actually, it's witchcraft.
Okay. Right on.
So I I identify as a witch, and it's a class
Okay.
that I take, and it has 5 different levels all the way up to high priestess.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Were you excited about the pink moon,
yes.
Tony? Yes.
I saw a pink moon.
But-
I saw like a pink circle around the moon. It was like enclosed in like a globe almost that was pinkish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a harvest moon type thing. You know, they've got harvest moon, they've got pink moon.
Yeah.
They've got a whole range of different types of moons. So I didn't get to see it because I was asleep.
On up here this weekend.
Yeah. Is there some significance to it from your standpoint?
Rituals of the wheel. There's 8 of them. 8 of them. And Mabon is the welcoming back of like the green back to the god and goddess
Okay.
meeting to create new life. So,
Okay.
and I'm actually leading it. I'm a
Unitarian Universalist?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Is that right?
and we have
Okay.
a group that are pagans that we meet for each of the rituals, and I'm leading the ritual.
Okay. Okay.
Excited.
Matrix Rabbit was wanting to know if it's a coven.
The group's called Kaleidoscope, so it's not really quite a coven because we come from like different types, different understandings of witchcraft.
Like a study group.
Like I follow the Temple of Witchcraft, which is Christopher Penczak. Others follow other ones that have formed their own style of rituals and stuff like that. So we just basically share our ideas of rituals and things like that.
Okay. Okay. Sounds pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I don't do rune magic. I'm not quite that advanced yet.
Right on.
I actually read runes. Been doing it
You
since
do?
I was about 13.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really?
Runes
Wow.
are
I've got them on-
amazing.
I've
Yeah.
got them on my
They
wrist.
are.
That's my daughter. Hang on. That's my daughter's name, and that's my son's name. But I've been reading.
That's cool.
I used to write runes as notes to my school friends. So I wrote out the code thing for them, and so they could decipher it. But if a teacher found it or someone else found it in between, no one could read it. So that was my way of getting through it. And there's also a Wiccan. There's a Wiccan one as well. There's a witch language that I learnt. That one's a lot more involved. So I've forgotten that one over the years. But yeah, I've remembered the runes. So it was actually pretty cool because when One Division came on, I'm like, I know that rune. I know what that means. I know what that rune means. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it's not for any. It's more of a knowledge thing because I'm into words. Words actually give me feeling. It's like synesthesia, but synesthesia. I'm not sure what you call it. With some people see colors and stuff when they hear words, or think of smells. I get feelings. So
Okay.
yeah. So for me, words have always been fascinating, and runes are the origin of the English, Germanic language, so which is the basis of English writing. That's why some of the runes look so much like English letters, because that's the basis of our writing. So I love etymology.
Right.
So that's why I learned it when I was so young, because I was like, I wanted to know where the words came from. So
Yeah.
but it's also really interesting. I used to do runes as well, like throw them and read them and stuff, but I don't do that stuff so much anymore. My cult wouldn't allow it, so I had to get rid of everything.
Oh, yeah.
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 I think,
So
I've always been like, this has always been a part of little. So it's kind of a in your face, because I was raised a JW. Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witness.
Yes.
And this is
Yeah.
Yeah.
like my family, my brother, my mom, don't know that I'm a witch, and I will never tell them as long as I want to be able to speak with them, because
Yeah.
I faded so that I could be able to continue to have contact with my family. So yeah,
Faded.
long story.
What is did you say faded?
Yes, I faded. In other words, I just kind of like went off their radar. Like I moved from Alaska down to Colorado, and when I moved to Colorado, I never went to the JW Church, the Kingdom Hall, and so my records didn't get moved there, so they didn't know where I was. So eventually, by the time I ended up in Missouri, they have no idea who I am. They don't know my name now, except for my mom and my brother, because my dad passed away quite a long time ago. But because of that, it's what's called faded. I just kind of like moved away from that whole thing, and just so that I could keep contact with my family.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I know that
And
my
there's a
mother,
lot of aspects of it. Go ahead, Cosmic.
my stepmother, she was the fundamentalist Christian person. I'm actually quite devastated because I was the one who got her into the cult. Because she was, I was going through that thing after my stepfather, and we all went and looked for a church together. We found a church. Yeah, and that's the end of it. And she's still there, but yeah, she thinks I've backslid, which is the worst thing you can do as a Christian. You know, it's worse than even becoming a Christian in the first place. So she's right. Yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
As in, I've backslid from her beliefs, but I haven't actually. Like, I still have some sort of faith, maybe not in religion, but there's something out there. You know, because I know that's not a logical thought. It's not scientific. It's not logical. But for me, you know, so not everything has to be scientific,
Right.
which is difficult for me to say because I am scientific about most things. But
I mean, there are more things in life that can neither be proven nor disproven. You know, like a person's feelings can't be proven or disproven. You know,
exactly. That's why I feel like all feelings are valid. You know, if you feel it, it's valid because you're feeling it. You know, it may not be for a good reason, but just you feeling it is valid. You know.
You know, this is why Clay and I get along so well, is because, you know, we've both been closeted in different ways. And, you know, knowing I celebrate Sabbats and do all kinds of magic. And, you know, I'm just, you know what, I'm going to say it for the first time. I read tarot, I read oracle. I would definitely say that I'm pretty witchy. And, you know, I have embraced that part of me. And that's why if you go back and you watch that interview, sorry, I don't mean to point at you with my pen. If you go back and you watch that interview where Clay is like, or a witch, that was that conversation that we had. And so that's why we connected so much, is because we both understood what it was like to have to keep that part of ourselves secret. I have not told my mom. My brother and my sister-in-law don't know. I would be disconnected from a lot of my family as well. If I came out, I think they probably have some sort of an idea. But you know, when I found it, it made a lot more sense to me. And you know, I think it's unfortunate that society sees it in a way as an unhealthy thing or a bad thing, because I don't think it's that at all. And it's why I really believe that everybody should be able to believe how they believe. You know, when I was living in the South, it was really hard. I got invited to church all the time. And, you know, my response was, I believe in God and I believe in Jesus. It just doesn't look like how you do it. And, you know, but it is. And that's, you know, there's something when you're able to say, you know, this is what I believe or what I do, and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, and
I
That's a
don't.
good
Which sees
de-escalation.
which.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
That's a
I just
good.
said
I
which
don't mean
sees
to
which.
sound.
I could tell.
I don't mean to be
What were you going to say?
patronizing or anything, Christy, but I'm really proud of you for accepting that and saying it out loud, because
yeah,
I can tell this is the first time you've just like said it to a group of people, and it can be so
yeah,
empowering. And I can just see you glowing right now because you got to do that.
yeah, and I know this is a safe, safe, accepting place.
Hi, man.
But yeah. Then what were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh, I just said that was a great de-escalation technique that you. I believe in this. It just doesn't look like you, and that's a
Yeah.
great de-escalation method.
Yeah.
It it is because you're acknowledging their beliefs, and nobody's trying to. It is funny. I will share this now that I kind of said it. So when everybody that I worked with found out that I was a witch, people would start coming to me for different things. And one lady came to me. She wanted a spell to get rid of one of the coworkers. And she was like, just they just butted heads. They had to share a tiny little office, and I just kept putting her off. I'm like, look, you need to go talk to your boss about this. This isn't like, she didn't come out and ask for it, just outright ask. She was always, kind of like hinting at it. And then one day she came into my office and she goes, okay, I know that you know how to do this, and I want a spell to get rid of her. And I looked at her and I'm like, well, it doesn't necessarily work that way. It has a lot to do with intent, and this could backfire, blow up on you. And she was just like, it doesn't matter. So I gave her like the most basic, easy. It just involved a lemon and writing the name on a piece of paper, folding it away from you, putting the name in the lemon to sour the relationship, throwing it in the freezer. Like, very harmless, very like just but the other side of that is, you're kind of leaving it up to the energies of the universe as to how that's going to play out. So I told her, I'm like, this might not go the way you think this is going to go. And she's like, no, it will. And I'm like, okay, well, look, this is what you've asked for. Fine, here it is. And again, it was harmless. It was nothing that was going to, like bring any bad karma into anybody. She did it. And I think it was the following week, if not just a few days, she got fired. So the other girl stayed. She got fired. And I was just like, this is why you have to come from a good place, a place of good intent, and she reached out to me and she goes, well, you were right. And I said, well, so I mean, it's one of those things. I think people just kind of think that you can just, woo, and it's done, and that's not it at all. But I had a lot of people come in and asking me for stuff, and I'm like, what makes you think I can do this? Now, could I do it? I could do it. Would I do it? No. That's a whole different thing. And I don't want to get into the weeds, but I just thought that was like a very funny story, because that's kind of how it goes. People find that out, and then,
Yeah.
next thing you know, they're like, can you, la, 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 and you're like, yeah, no, that's, like you're way off, and I practice a lot of different things. I'm a little hoodoo-y, I'm a little voodoo-y, I'm a little, I'm a little hedge witchy, I'm a little bit of all of it, but I'm not going to do something that's going to bring harm. And I've had people ask me to do things, and I'm just like, no.
It's a bit like finding out someone's a mechanic. Everyone wants you to look after their car. But and like when people find out like this, it's more of a relationship thing. Everyone wants to find out what the relationship's doing. And it's just like, if you're asking, you already know, generally.
Right. Right. And
But-
that's what I tell everybody. I'm like, I don't read on death. I don't read on health. I don't, there's some things I just don't do. But it is funny what people ask you when they find out.
Well, back when I worked with Chase Hughes, back when I worked for neuroscience group, one of us there was a few of us in our little group, and one of us who was a therapist, she's a Native American that was also dabbling in that, and she had my little group. We we were all kind of doing the same thing. We all did an exercise that she was doing something at at her. She built a big fire and was doing this ritual, but she had us all a bunch of us around the world at the same time. Some of us had to wake up at like 1 o'clock in the morning because Amsterdam and
Right.
Australia and India, and of course a bunch of us in the U.S. But we all would take our limiting beliefs or
Hmm.
negative thoughts we were having or problems we were having, and she would have us write it out, and we'd all throw it in the fire at the same time, and it was actually really fun. I mean, and people would say, "Oh, aren't you afraid of them?" It's like this is crap we don't want. I mean, what do you
Right.
think's going to happen? You think it's going to pop to life and big monster?
Some people do think that. Crystal, hello. How are
Hi,
you?
Crystal. How are you doing?
Hanging in there, I guess. It's been a tough couple of days.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What's going on?
Still
Anything
don't
you want to share?
still don't know if I have a place or not.
Okay.
I had to give my real estate agent whatever I knew yesterday.
Mhm.
But just as I was getting ready to email her, she emailed me saying that the buyer is not willing to renegotiate because she's not sure of move-in date. And I told her what I knew at that point, that I'm still waiting. I am still in the process of saying, like, I want to give a move-in possession date of June 1st, as has been discussed. The lady, I guess, did say that to let her know once I do have a concrete date. And if she hasn't found anything yet, she would be willing to still look at my trailer. She really likes it.
Okay.
So I thought we would hear something today. We left messages yesterday. Nothing. Haven't heard anything. It's tough because my phone isn't working properly at work. It goes to emergency calls only. Thankfully, I'm still getting emails and messenger texts and WhatsApp texts, but not all regular texts. So I don't know if I'm missing phone calls or what from them. It's just, it's all crazy in my head.
I don't know that this is a viable solution, but could you maybe in case your real estate agent can't reach you, is there an emergency person? Like, I know Kim's been helping you a lot. Is there someone else maybe they could reach out to if they can't get a hold of you so you don't miss it?
My real estate agent has my email address.
Oh, good. Okay.
And when we phoned the housing authority yesterday, Kim left a message saying to get back to her, and she didn't even hear anything today. Now, Kim did kind of point something out last night that could possibly be a good thing or not. I don't know. She said, when we had the first time her and I had talked to Janet, Janet had said that it would take about a week to get everything figured out. Like once the board said yes, it would take a little bit to get everything put into the system and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she said last time you heard very quickly back. So maybe that means it's a good thing and this is going forward and they're just trying to get a place for you now.
There
So
you go.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It would have been really nice to have found out
Yeah.
this week. It would have been nice, but
Mhm.
at this point, it doesn't look like I will because Kim's teaching right now, and
Hmm.
by the time she gets back, we won't be able to phone today
Mhm.
to find out. And tomorrow, I'm leaving work at noon and heading in to see her. So unless she ends up phoning somewhere in there, we won't know. We won't be able to phone together till next week.
Hmm.
When you talked to Janet last week, did she give you any kind of an idea of when they might know something?
We didn't actually talk to Janet last week. It was Monica that Kim talked to,
Okay.
and she told Kim that the board meeting didn't meet because there wasn't enough people, so it was pushed off to the 22nd. I guess the two people that had responded to the emails said that they would feel better discussing it in person at the next board meeting,
Mhm.
whatever that means.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm just having to still trust that before the end of May I'll be out of here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's kind of sent me out into a dark path,
Sure.
wondering why I'm here, why I'm not good enough.
Hmm.
Oh,
Crystal.
please don't
And
feel that way.
Yeah. It
You're,
doesn't have anything to do with, any of
no,
that. It's just bureaucracy,
yeah.
plain and
Yeah.
simple.
You're
Mhm.
fighting government. That's all. Yeah. It's just nothing to do
Yeah.
with your
It's
value
nothing
as a
personal.
person.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing to do with your self-worth. And I
I know
just
it
wanted to
feels
point
very
out too,
personal, but go ahead.
yeah. I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead. You
Carol.
want
Um,
No, go ahead.
I I just wanted to point out too, like, you know me, positive. You haven't gotten any hard no's. The buyer is still interested in your place. They have not come back and told you absolutely not. Maybe the reason they need to discuss it is to make an exception for you. Which is a good thing. So you haven't at this point lost anything. So I want you to keep that in mind. You haven't heard, but you haven't lost, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there's still, it's just taken time. And I know that's frustrating. Believe me, I know. But you are a beautiful human who is worth being here. You bring so much value and importance to this channel, to the people around you. Like, please don't let this thing affect your self-worth. And I know that can be very difficult, but this is other people right now. Your life is just waiting on someone else to get together and decide, but they don't see you as less than either, and look at it as they could be discussing it because you might be the first exception that they've ever made, and they might all just want to make sure they're on the same path and know how to manage that going forward. Because like you said before, if they make an exception for you, then are they going to have to make an exception for everybody else? And maybe what they're needing to do is just to discuss how to make an exception for you and still say no to the people they need to say no to. So you haven't lost anything, if that is helpful at all. I don't know that that's helpful, but you haven't lost anything. You haven't gotten any hard no's. Maybe that's
I think that's where I'm trying to hold on right now.
mm-hmm.
It's just really difficult because it just, like, I literally asked Kim yesterday. She said she loved me, and I said, why?
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
You are lovable
And
and worthy.
Yes, you are very lovable.
Absolutely. I am
And we
very
love
grateful
you.
you are in my life.
Yeah.
Thank
thank you.
Yeah, and you have taught me so much, like things that I would have never learned had I not met you, that has enriched and improved my life. So, please know that, I'm very thankful for you and the things that you've brought into my life.
Yeah.
Doesn't help that when I got to work this morning, I knew I had certain things I needed to do. And one of the things that I do fairly soon after getting there is price changes. And I needed to go and get their little things that stick out from the shelves, like the clearance or rollback or whatever. They're called beanies. And I needed some of those, and I knew I was closest to where they were going to be. But it meant having to go past where the guy that I'm having troubles with stands. The one I've told you about that stands by the washrooms.
Yes.
And I didn't even want to go past there. But I'm like, it's the fastest way to get to where I need to be. And when you're in a lot of pain as it is, having to go out of your way and walk extra is not very easy.
Yeah.
So I walked by, and unfortunately he was there. But he was he was facing away from where I was, as per normal, looking towards where the washrooms are. And I walked past, and he brought his head up when I was about halfway past him and starts laughing. And it gave me this sick feeling in my stomach. And I grabbed the beanies that I needed, and I literally went all the way through the back room to go out from the back onto the floor, down by my craft area, then walked almost all the way back to where that door was to my domestics area where I needed to be doing the price changes. Just because I didn't want to go past them. I've been finding that I'm constantly going out of my way to go places if I know that I would have to pass by them otherwise. And so I thought, it's time that I talk to management again and HR. Well, HR ended up being in the store this morning.
Okay.
And so I sat down and I talked to her, and she's like, well, I've just been just kind of started to get all the information on this and whatever. And if you want, you can do, sorry, Leo's trying to get by my feet. We can start an investigation, but it's really hard to prove. And he said, she said, and yeah. And we all know how that works out. No one takes what I'm thinking. And she's like, well, no. She says, it's just all circumstantial and there's nothing concrete. And yeah, and that's how it is with harassment.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't even heard as much with her as I was with our store manager. She did say she would talk to Arun and find out, at least try and get it so that he's not standing by the washrooms like that. He doesn't start until 6 o'clock, and he's standing there at 20 after 5 until 6 o'clock. He's already got all of his work stuff together that he's not supposed to get until you've swiped in. You're not supposed to get your carts. You're not supposed to get your handhelds and printers and that until after you've swiped in.
So
she's
I must have missed it. He's standing by the washrooms to watch people come in and out, like he's being like creepy
Yeah.
dude guy.
according to him, no, that's just where he stands. But it
Stands
makes
by the
me,
bathroom at Walmart.
I know,
Weird.
That's not an insult. I'm just saying,
and
like,
it creeps me out because, and I can't even use the washrooms at the front of the store because, um, I have a hard time with public washrooms to begin with. So I use our family washroom, which is in the back.
mhm.
So I can go in it, I can physically lock the door, and I know nobody can get in.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in regular stall washrooms, it's it. And I told HR today, I said, um, I'm not the only one that thinks this is creepy behavior. I said I've been talking with some friends that are trying to help in a peer support group, and I'm telling them what's going on, and they're going like, "Okay, that's really creepy." And like, I'm not the only female that uses that washroom.
Don't feel bad about that. We have a campus here. It's a large campus. I walk all the way across it to go to a single hole restroom over in the workout room simply to avoid Mr. Bathroom Talker. And he's just an annoyance. But if I'm willing to do that, and I'm not a female, I don't have any history with, but yeah, don't feel bad about that. That's just where you're at. And you know what? There's nothing weird about that. That's just privacy. You want privacy. Nothing, it's you're I think, well, it it sounds like this kind of put you on the defensive a little bit, and you have no reason to be on the defensive. And I can understand why, because you've been dealing with somebody who's you feel belittled almost by their interaction. So I get that. But yeah, this is just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he do it to anybody else?
I don't know. And that's the thing. And she says, well, he could have been laughing at something else, and he could have, and like in the last 2 weeks since I got my head shaved, this most recent time, it seems to have gotten worse, where if he does pass by me, there's mumbling under his breath. I can hear him saying something, but I can't hear what he's actually saying. But because it ends up becoming he said, she said, it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Is
there a step above HR?
The thing is, the next step, like she asked me, she says, what do you want us to do? And I said, I want you to make it stop.
Yeah.
Like she says, well, we could do an investigation, but without there being concrete stuff, then there's nothing we can really do, and yada, yada, yada. He has stopped. And okay, and this is what I told her about the last couple of weeks. It's just been in the last couple of weeks that I've really heard him mumbling under his breath whenever I walk by. And today, the laugh. And I said to her, I'm slowly getting a little bit more comfortable with who I am, but I still don't let a whole bunch of people know things. And I definitely don't let many people know at work. But I said, I'm beginning to wonder if, since I shaved my head, if these comments and laugh and all of this stuff is because somehow he thinks that he knows who I am and is being disrespectful because of that in my sexuality.
Did you bring that up with HR?
I did today.
Okay.
Okay, so I missed that part. What does shaving your and what does shaving your head have to do with your sexuality? Like, I'm sorry, you don't have to answer if you don't. I just
No.
missed.
It's okay. I say that because a number of years ago there was somebody that, and I actually heard it from a lady that I was becoming friends with. She told me that she had heard it straight from the horse's mouth, that people were thinking that I shaved my head because I was gay. Yeah.
So what if, I guess,
Yeah. So
I
what?
know.
that kind of
You know
like,
what?
why is that a problem?
Here's
I don't know.
here's
I
the
mean,
thing.
I don't
Exactly.
know your orientation, but why would that be a problem and something to make a
Right.
big deal about?
The thing is, in the community that I live in, it's still kind of backwards. And
You know what?
it's a small community and they don't like the differences.
Small
I like
town.
black cats. That's been my experience by and large.
You know, Crystal, I had my head shaved for 2 years. Like shaved like yours for 2 years. And you know what? As a sister head shaver, you don't let them do that to you. Just stick your tongue out at them. Throw some cheese. You work at Walmart, you go get you some cheese and you just chuck it. I'm kidding, that will get you fired. Don't get fired. Chase him with the turkey leg, like, you know. Crystal, I am so sorry because shaving your head has absolutely zero anything to do with, nor should it ever. What you just stick your tongue out at them. Just no. I'm sorry. This is my angry habit. We're gonna rein it in, but that is terrible that you are being treated that way. And I want to encourage you to find in yourself strength to encourage them to do that investigation, to say something, because you know what, you are worth fighting for. And you, if this feels icky to you, it is icky, and you just tell him to do it. Say, I don't care if it's he said, she said. You know what, get your phone out, hit record, and every time you walk by that man, record it. You know what, two can play at that game. He can't stop you from recording it. You just show him every time you walk by. If this is your phone, you just show him. Be like, hey, how's it going? You know, and behind your phone, just be like,
oh, I don't even talk to him. I don't even talk to him.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk to him to look up your phone and start filming. You don't have to talk to him.
You know
Just
what? If they
filming.
want proof, give them proof. You know,
Give them
but
proof.
don't, please don't, please know you are worthy of an investigation.
Yeah.
You are worthy of being heard, because the bottom line is, the truth is, Walmart is a huge employer and they cannot, it is illegal to have a hostile work environment. And if you are feeling discriminated against, if you are feeling I can't find my words. If you are feeling bullied, if any of that, that is not okay. That is not okay. And it is your right. Exercise that right. You know, make them go to him and make him answer for it. You know what? You have a right. And
but
you know what?
He says he's not doing it.
So video him doing it. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you have to stop the fight, Crystal. And I'm going to be honest, I'm dealing with something like that right now. It doesn't mean you have to stop the fight.
Right.
Because you are worthy. You do deserve to be heard.
Yeah. Get the phone out and just make it really obvious that you're filming him.
Well, and I was going to say, you don't even have to make it obvious. Just record and keep, and you know, you could have your phone, you know, kind of hanging down and have it recording as
I
you
would
walk
make it
by.
obvious.
And you
I
don't
would
even have
make
to
it so obvious.
the only I just don't, yeah, do what you need to do. Do what works for you. I just
Right.
it sounds like he's doing it intentionally. It
Mhm.
sounds
Yeah.
like he's trying to get to you and
Yeah.
or make you uncomfortable
Yeah.
for whatever
Well,
reason.
The thing is, I don't even know why he's still there. He has to drive almost an hour and 3/4 to get to work. He's in his early or mid to late 70s. He can barely fucking see. It's like, just screw off.
yes,
Go
yes,
be your slumlord somewhere else.
I'm with you. Yes.
But like, when I started shaving my head, I started shaving my head because my dad was going through cancer. And when I was 14 or 15 years old, when I was about 14 or 15 years old, a friend of mine, as a 12-year-old, got leukemia. Thankfully, he got adult leukemia, so he had a better survival rate. And one of the things we heard is when he walked onto the cancer ward for the first time and he got to his room, he looked at his mom and he says, "Mom, can you shave my head so that I'm just like the other kids?" And when I heard that, my heart broke.
Yeah.
Because this was a special little guy to me.
Yeah.
And I said right then and there, if I ever know anybody going through cancer treatments again, I'm shaving my head in solidarity. I didn't know it would be my dad.
Right. Right.
And it's gotten to the point where I feel more comfortable with it shaved. To kind of talk to Black Cad, are you in Canada or US? I'll ask that first before I.
I'm pretty sure
you
he's
need to
US.
starting. You know, if only you could ignore the old creepster. But you should definitely push record when you know he's going to be around, if at all possible. I just wholeheartedly agree.
I mean, at the bare minimum, it's still, no matter how you color it, whatever, it's just non-professional behavior. And usually that kind of thing, that kind of thing, they usually like say, no, you can't do that. You can't, that's just weird. But
have you talked to other coworkers to see if they're experiencing any of that? Have you told it to other coworkers?
I'm trying to keep it very quiet to other coworkers because the ones that he interacts with, they're the Good Boys Club.
Oh, that's even worse. Get a wheel of cheese. Skip over a chunk. Get a wheel. Get a wheel of cheese.
I want to say something with Black Cad. I'm in Walmart Canada, which is different than Walmart US. We do not have the capping system anymore. It's gone to a different system. I am actually classified as special projects. I can use my phone, and I do use my phone. I use the WhatsApp to get in contact with management when I need to, because it's more secure. And it's easier than going and paging them to a certain area or to call. I just text them, especially if I'm not needing to get them to come right away. It's just easier that way. I'm classified as special projects, which simply means because of my mental and physical disabilities, I have different things that I can and cannot do. And my doctor has given notes, and Walmart knows what my mental diagnoses are and stuff. And so technically I'm still under what's called the operations team, which is the back room. But I'm not in claims anymore. On paper I am, in reality I'm not, because he can't get me, for me to go into the other group, which is merchandising team, I would end up losing pay. And he doesn't want me to have to lose any of my pay.
Right.
And Walmart Canada tied his hands right as he was trying to figure out how to get it so that I could have the same pay and be on the merchandising team. But I work on my own. I only work crafts, domestics, and furniture, which domestics is like your kitchen and bath accessories. Furniture is furniture. I also do drapery. Crafts is crafting stuff. And candles and party supplies. So that is the only area that I work in. I do all the gun work. For crafts, I do all the freight. Domestics, the evenings, the unloaders will work freight, but I clean up after them. I fix all their mistakes, which are quite a lot sometimes. But yeah, it's different things like that. I am special projects. So I technically, the only people I answer to are my direct supervisor, management, and our store manager. Those are the only two people that I answer to.
Well, Crystal, I want to say, okay, next time he mutters, and this really has got me angry, just tell him, be like, you know what? It takes a really badass woman to pull off a shaved head. No, don't get yourself in trouble. But I just want to say that, not every woman can pull it off, and you do an amazing job. And but on a more serious note, besides of telling you to, bowl him down with wheels of cheese and, chase him with a turkey leg. Although that would be great, and if you do that, video it. Teasing. But could you go back to your store manager and say, I went to HR, I did not feel heard, I did not feel listened to, this is how I felt, this really is, affecting my mental health. Would he be more receptive to that? And would he be able to help you in some other way that, coming from HR? Because it sounds like she just doesn't want to do her job. He just doesn't want to do their job by saying, oh, well, it's he said, she said. Would that be something that could help you? Like, could you do that?
Well, she did say she was going to email him today because she wasn't going to actually be there by the time he got there this afternoon, because he closes on Thursdays. And she was there this morning.
I wonder if could you write down because one thing that's really important is documentation. So if you don't feel comfortable filming him, of course I understand that, but like on your phone, like do you have like a note, like a notepad where you could type it out and be like, on this date at this time walked by, this happened, like, because then it could show a pattern and you would have proof. It wouldn't just be, well, every time or this time, it'd be like, I don't know, May 3rd at 2:45 p.m. walked by, snickered, then you actually have proof. Would that be more helpful? Like, is that something you could do?
I could try and do that. Like the two biggest times that he really made me feel uncomfortable, I actually sent an email to Arun, our store manager, and said between this time and this time, because I wanted to make sure it was kind of blanketed in case they did decide to go back and look at our half-ass, non-existent security system. Like it's there, but it's so old that it's really hard for them to see some of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would
I don't know.
Talking about this just triggered something that happened to me at my work. Different position, same employer that I'm currently at. I at the time did not have the words to describe the bullying behavior or what often is considered hostile work environment. And they apparently HR doesn't necessarily like those, but I wish I'd used the terms unprofessional, because if nothing else, it's a business environment and we're supposed to be professionals when we're at work.
Yeah.
So even if it's, you kind of think of, even if management or HR thinks of bullying as, I don't even know what the right word is. Not defined, maybe. I don't know what the right word to describe that. Being not professional is potentially a bigger issue that maybe they will. What ended up happening for me is my boss. I was being bullied by somebody who was younger than me, and I didn't know how to describe it. And different situation in many ways, but if I had used the term that she was not being professional, she was doing, a couple of different things, I think my manager would have had a better understanding of how bad it was for me. And so I don't know if that would help, or even writing down.
There is an element of bullying to what he's doing. He's trying to intimidate you.
Yes. I think he's trying to harass you.
I think
because
so,
he thinks he can.
Yeah.
And yet he's constantly getting talked to about it.
He doesn't care. People like
and
that.
And then there's also that aspect. There's also that aspect now of the denial on his end. And then the he said, she says comes in. So he can be constantly spoken to. He can constantly have it in his face. But if he's denying it and HR is not doing their investigation the way that they should be, in my opinion, then it just turns into he gets talked to, he's not doing anything. It's not right. But
I wonder, Crystal, if you could phrase it this way. Could you help me understand why this has repeatedly been brought to your attention and it's continuing to happen? Could you help me understand why this behavior is not being properly addressed? Because what you're doing when you say something like that is you're putting the ball in their court and they have to explain it to you. So instead of being on the defensive, which you are now, of you having to defend yourself, you having to defend your actions, you having to explain yourself, you're making them explain it to you. So you're making the store manager explain it. You're making the HR person explain it. I'm wondering if that might be helpful. Could you help me to understand why his unprofessional behavior has not been properly dealt with? That's a really fair question. I don't know that would help, but maybe sometimes like Rebecca was saying, just how you phrase it gets their attention. And I don't know that would help, but I don't know that it would hurt because, like I said, then you're making them think because now they're explaining to you instead of you explaining to them. And a lot of times that's a really good way to navigate a tricky situation.
And say what they're saying.
Yeah.
They have to hear themselves, and that's Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I want to actually bring you helpful solutions instead of get a wheel of cheese, although that's a great solution too.
Yeah.
That's not
Like,
I really,
I guess the
I
part
really feel
that's
like we all need
frustrating.
foam cheese now. Just constantly throwing foam cheese at people.
Right? Right?
It
I think
was
the
it
part
was Gouda, wasn't it? Gouda? Sorry.
I think the part that's the most frustrating right now with this is not the first time I have had to deal with somebody being harassing.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been dealt with, and that person has disappeared
Mm-hmm.
quicker than this one.
Yeah, so I think just make them explain to you. That's what I mean, truthfully, honestly, that's probably your best bet. Help me to explain why this is continuing to happen to me. It sounds like you are in a special position anyway because of your diagnoses, which is probably a good thing. And that's a little bit, I would make them explain. I would stop explaining to them. I would make them start explaining to me. Because like I believe it was Carol said, when they have to start explaining it to you and they hear how it sounds, you know, because they might just be feeling right now like they can blow you off.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's right, but you know, when you go to that person, go to the store manager, you know, help me to understand why this is continuing to happen. If you feel that that's a good thing, that's how I would handle it, really.
Yeah.
Because you know, you're no longer explaining. Because I don't think there's any more. There's nothing more for you to explain. You
That's
know,
true.
right now you need answers. So you've done your part. You've explained it to everybody. You've gone to everybody. Okay, you know what? Now it's my turn to get answers. And you deserve those answers. You deserve to not have to work in a hostile environment, and you deserve to have management tell you why they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Great job.
Yeah.
You
Like I
know.
did this morning when there wasn't anybody around. I took a picture of where the washrooms are so that I could at least show on the picture where he stands.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get a picture. I didn't feel okay with taking a picture and didn't know how to take a picture when he's standing there
Mm-hmm.
without him knowing that I'm taking a picture.
I think it's okay for him to know you're taking a picture. Why? Why isn't it?
The thing is, because I don't want any more retaliation.
Yeah, he might
And
get
I'm
more
scared
aggressive.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with bullies. They tend to like lash out when they're called out.
Yeah.
And like
Black Cat
there
brings
was
up
a
something here. Your phone is capturing them pictures. There are pictures of the
My son's agreeing.
employees that he was talking about. There are pictures of the employees. Maybe the manager could help you sort some of them out and find some proof. You think they'd be willing to do that?
I don't know.
Does Walmart have a union? Is
We can
unions
go
big over there?
okay, we don't have to have a union because we can actually go to any level of management
Mm,
all the way up to our CEO.
mm.
It's not how unions work, though. The unions are there to be behind you to help bargain for you and protect you and your rights as a worker. You know,
Yeah.
no one has to be in a union, but they are actually the reason why we have rights as workers. Otherwise, employers run roughshod over us because, you know, HR isn't for us, it's for them. It's for them to make sure that their business is copacetic with the rules and all that sort of stuff, but they don't care what's happening to you personally. HR is to protect them, not you. So that's
It,
just business and life generally, you know. So that's why when you have a union behind you, it's there to protect you as a worker.
I have literally had issues with different managers at different levels. And I went to, I ended up going to one of our regional managers, which is, okay, there's store manager, market leader, or district manager, then regional, and then home office people. I went to our regional manager and more or less told her I thought that a call that they had made was stupid and never should have happened. And she said, I hear you. We're going to try this. And because they had moved us under a different district, and then they moved us back into the district we were in. And when I talked to her, she said, we are keeping an eye on the situation. And if he starts doing the same things he was doing as before, let us know. And I literally, when he started the same tricks that he was doing before, I went to her again and I said, he's doing this again. Within about 3 weeks, of course, I didn't realize at the time, he was already being under investigation for something else. But within 3 weeks of me going back to regional and saying that he's playing his old tricks, he was fired. And literally, she got off the plane, handed him his walking papers, turned around and got back on the plane and back to home office.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's a little bit unfathomable for me because I don't know if that sort of stuff would fly in Australia, because Australia has really quite intense unions. That's why we have a very good minimum wage. Our waitresses and stuff don't rely on tips and all that sort of stuff. My minimum wage as I think 17-year-old was something like $18 back when years and years and years ago. And I was working at Macca's, So
I remember when I started working, my minimum wage was $6 an hour.
Yeah. Well, I was 14 when I started, and it was about 8, but that was for the first, the trial period. Then it went up to something like 11, and then I was paid casual loading, which is an extra amount if you're not like a permanent employee. You get casual loading, so that helps with, say, if you have sick days and all that sort of stuff, because you don't get that as a casual. It gives you extra money, supposedly, in the bank, because you're not. It's a good thing. We've got good wage things and practices here. Like one of our biggest employees, Woolworths, which is a shopping centre, was just fined and have to pay back millions of dollars because they weren't paying people overtime. But that didn't last very long. It's not like years and years later. It was like, 3 years later they're paid. It's like we have really staunch laws here as far as employees go and our rights, because we have unions. And so I encourage unionize, because it's the only way that we have rights as a people who are the reason why there is the business in the first place. Without the employees, what business would they have? They'd be just they wouldn't be a business, and the employees are the heart of every business. So, I just stand up for your rights, and I know it's difficult and it's hard, and I would recommend possibly having a backup job before you start doing that, because it's never a good place to be when you're going against your employers. So, yeah. I just recommend standing up for your rights, because how else are they going to know it's wrong if you're not standing up for what is right for yourself and for everyone else who works with you? And I'm not sure if you guys are allowed to talk about employment contracts and all that sort of stuff over there.
Nope. No, we're not allowed to discuss pay. You're not allowed to talk about your contract. Minimum wage here for fast food workers just jumped up to $15 an hour, which before it was like between 8 and 10. Most people here don't even make a living wage, truthfully. We don't have those kind of protections like you do. Like if you get in with a good big corporation, you're more likely to, but there's not those protections. And unions here are really tricky. I don't know what the unions there look like, but unions here are pretty tricky too. So it's unfortunately, we don't like waitresses. To give you an example, when I was a waitress, I made $2.50 an hour and relied on tips. If I did not make minimum wage like that day, then they would pay me minimum wage. That was it. So I didn't. If it was a slow night, forget it. I mean, and it's really unfortunate, but I mean,
every employer does the same, like you were forbidden to talk about stuff, but it's really common. Actually, they might unionize the civil service people where I work right now, but a lot of unions are not. I've been part of one when I worked at Rainbow Foods. I was a cashier way back in the day. And I actually got $5 an hour when at the time minimum wage was like $4.50. I was very thankful for that.
Yeah, right. It's amazing how that small amount is is everything.
And there was a little bit of health insurance. They paid for my wisdom teeth being removed. Which
and that's another thing. Paying for health insurance here is horrible. Exorbitant. When I had my family on my health insurance plan, my paychecks got cut in half, literally in half, to cover that insurance payment. So, I went from this is just an example, making $1,000 a week to $500, or $1,000 every 2 weeks to $500 every 2 weeks. You can't live on that, Yeah. So it's. It's tricky. It's so tricky.
It's not like it's any easier here for people.
Yeah.
Because people are people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying that we have more rights to fight for. This, and maybe it's because we're smaller. I don't know. So smaller groups, bigger voices allowed. Voices are louder, sort of thing.
We could have
but it's
done
also
the U.S. could have done. I'm really fatigued. The healthcare, universal healthcare for all. We looked at it, and somebody decided no. So it was looked at back at World War II, I believe. One of the other reasons I don't move is I work for the state, and so there's a certain port of protections that I get that I wouldn't get any other place I've worked. I've not had them.
Yeah, work is tricky.
Yeah,
it really is.
I've had conversations with people. I'm like, I would potentially marry someone if I knew them. We've had these conversations. If they had my partner's kids, now they're getting older, but if something had happened and there was an issue with health insurance, I know people who've gotten married to make sure that their partner or their kids or whatever got health insurance.
Or stayed married for those reasons. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Tara, how did your meeting go?
It was
good?
Awesome.
Good.
Super awesome. Yeah, I have a lot of homework, but I'm excited about it. She gave me a lot of good pointers. There's a lot I have to learn for sure. Yeah, we didn't come up with a name, but I have some good places to start.
Okay.
Good.
Good deal.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm going to hop off because we are going to go out to dinner. Michael was taking a shower, so I was able to be on a little later, but it sounds like he's done. So it was so good to see you. Crystal, I'm sending you all of the love and prayer. I really hope the situation works out for you. It sounds like you've got a lot on your plate. I just want you to know that you're worthy, and we are so thankful that you are here. You belong
Yeah.
here, and
Yeah.
it is one way or another going to work out. And Tara,
Yeah.
cool. Do your homework. That's awesome. And Cosmic, love you. Rebecca, I am so glad to see you. Ben, as always, it's amazing. Carol, love you so much. Thank you.
Love you
And you
too.
guys have a good night. And I
You
will
too.
Thank
chat
you.
with you later. Bye.
Thank you, Christy.
Becca,
How are you,
you right? I
Rebecca?
saw in the meeting Facebook that you need community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's another kind of rough day, but I I'm trying to stay positive. Actually, the good thing, this is some cherry wood fabric that I've dug out of the closet.
What does it feel
Oh,
like? What does it feel like?
It feels like suede. And this is the pattern that I'm going to make.
Oh, cool. Wow, that's beautiful.
it is gorgeous.
And then because I needed something else, I dug out the other cherry wood fabric that I've got. It's blues and
Oh,
purple.
wow. That looks very fancy.
That's amazing.
I can almost feel it on my face.
Yeah, it's like it feels like suede. It's all 100% cotton, but it feels like suede.
Wow.
And so I dug out my other fabric, and I'm working on a pattern for this, and hopefully I will have that maybe later this weekend. I've just got the patterns laid out on the ottoman here in front of me and to the side. So there's some good. So this one, though, I am going to start cutting out this weekend.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yesterday, you weren't even thinking about patterns or making anything. You were just talking about fondling the fabric. You have made so much progress.
I dug this out. I dug it originally, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'll do that other fabric. And then this morning, work has not been as good as it could be because I've had a lot of problems focusing. So this pattern was picked out while I was sitting on phones this morning without any calls coming in. So, but yeah, I dug out the fabric. I've got it kind of laid out. I don't even think I need to starch it because it's going to be just straight cuts. I think it'll be fine without. But yeah, and then I got meds that I asked for on Wednesday, some ADHD type meds, some meds to help me focus because I'm struggling with that.
Yeah.
And that was why I had to go to the pharmacy ASAP, because I knew if I didn't go, I was going to, by the time the needing a meeting was done, I wouldn't have the energy to do it. And so I went and got it. It's one that apparently has to build on itself. So technically it's 4 prescriptions. So there's a few of one dosage and then a few of the next dosage, and goes like that. But I'm okay. My friend Sarah's coming over tomorrow, so I only work a partial day. I may not make needing a meeting though, depending on how long she's here. But yeah, I needed to see people. And Crystal, do this.
Yeah.
Crystal.
Oh, the crystal hug. I want one of those.
I actually found that in a card that I ended up giving to one of my former counselors who had become a friend, and we always hugged at the end of a session. And when I found that card, it was the icing on the cake, and I sent it to her. And ever since after that, it was always, we would say the whole thing and have the hug. And so we were able to continue having the hug even though we were just on the phone by then. So, so I do it with other people now too, because it's one way you can actually give a hug and receive one in the process. Yeah. And nobody has to be touched if they don't like the touch.
Yeah.
I was about to say that. I might start doing that with my mates. You stay over there and we can hug like this. No touchies.
I like that.
Use it as you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I reached out to my partner too for some help on one of the other new things is I'm doing a glucose monitor for the next 3 months to kind of see how foods affect me because I did the low FODMAP and so I'm adding stuff back and there's been multiple potential issues. So we're trying to kind of figure out what's going on, see how my body's responding to stuff. So I asked my partner because he's got one. I'm not diabetic, so I don't take insulin, but I'm pre-diabetic. And so I just kind of want to see how certain foods affect me. And then maybe that can help me choose or make different food choices.
Yeah,
And
can't hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then, and because I got that prescription tomorrow morning, I can take the first dose of the ADHD med. And I don't know how long it comes to take effect, but
Right.
it's,
I hope it helps.
me too. I
Yeah.
realized Sunday is the 2-year anniversary. And so I did reach out to my friend Liza as well. So just trying to, because I want to just cry. I just want to kind of crawl in a hole and cry.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
So thank you. So I'm trying to focus on the cherry wood fabric. 4 yards of fabric in an ombre. So trying to focus on that so that and thank you, Crystal, for saying I could have more fabric. I can't afford to buy more fabric, but it was nice to hear. So, and
I hear it.
For you could start another project. I don't know why I think I needed that. I think I needed somebody just to say, you could do this. Because I've been trying for most of this year to finish things that were already done. Because I'm like trying to get stuff done so I can get them out. Well, maybe I just don't need to worry about that right now.
Right
maybe I
on.
just need to keep myself in a little bit more positive trajectory.
Yeah. Some things that bring you joy. Yeah.
That's
So
yeah.
Yeah, that's good for your brain.
I'm going to try. So we're going to cut up this fabric because now that we know what to do, we're going to cut up this fabric and we're going to use dark gray to piece it. Is it weird that I've already got that calculated in my head?
No way.
No,
I think
don't
it's
think so.
amazing.
No.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, you're so creative.
And these fat colors, I love purples, blue, pink, green. So I think maybe that's the other thing. I need to just start sewing with them so I'm around them even if I'm not dressed that way. But I'm trying.
That's good.
Did you see this, Crystal? Black Cad says, Crystal Mays, do me a favor and ask Asset Protection to look for a theft and see the cameras. So you can, I guess, see the guy and maybe have some proof.
I have seen the cameras. I used to sit in on the thefts. So I know what the cameras are like. I also know that our system in our store is not where it needs to be.
Okay.
And that comes straight from asset protection at a higher level.
Okay.
One of my good friends in the company actually is part of the ones that go in and do the internal theft and internal investigations. So, yeah.
And Rolling Stone says, that sounds like a smart idea, Black Cat. Also, letting HR know that she knows all about their app's capabilities would probably work in Crystal's favor with HR.
Crystal, have you been documenting this stuff in writing?
Not to the detail that Stacia mentioned, or was it Stacia or Christy mentioned earlier
Oh, okay.
about writing down
Might
everything that
have been Stasia. She's big on that.
documenting. Okay.
But the one thing I have to say, and a lot of people do not realize this, Walmart Canada is not the same as Walmart USA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, our complete home office is in Bentonville, and yes, we are under Walmart USA, but we are not the same. We have different standards, different rules, different governing ways of doing things. Same like Walmart in China and Walmart in the European countries and England and all over the world. So it's different in each area because of certain laws that each country has that are different. So,
well, does Canada have laws about hostile work environment?
Yeah.
Do you have a labor board?
I'm not exactly sure what you're meaning by that.
Is there an oversight group that is separate
In
from
Australia,
the
it's called the
company?
Fair Work Commission.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's the Ministry of Labor, Crystal.
Well, that would be outside of Walmart then.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
It's like an ombudsman for employees and fair work and all that, and also employers.
Advocate. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't hurt to reach out to them and see if there's something that they can advise or do.
Even before you do anything, to find out what your rights are, so you're not in the wrong and anything. So that any advice that you get. That's always really, really good to do. Regardless of anything, like there's tenancy, like resident rental authorities and all that sort of stuff, generally in most places. So it's always good to check with them as far as, if you want to have a bit of a thing with your, what do you call it, landlord or whatever, you always check with an authority first to find out what your rights are so that you're always in the right and you're coming at everything based on facts, because a lot of people have an opinion about stuff, but it's not based in fact. And if you base your case in fact, it's a lot. You're more likely to go through. And I found that myself, as I'm full of opinions, and I had a whole bunch when I was going in talking to my legal aid person. And opinions aren't facts, and and when you're doing stuff as far as employment, you do have to come from a legal basis, because in the end, if it comes down to it, you might have to go down a legal path, especially if there's like a unfair dismissal or harassment, hostile work environment, all that sort of stuff. It all comes down to a legal thing, especially on the side of the employer. So they're going to come at you from a legal basis. So it's always good to come at them from a legal basis and know your rights. And I think that's important in every aspect. Always know your rights.
What's it called again, Stacia? Stacia? Plan Free? What's it called again?
Oh, she looks frozen.
I think it was a Ministry of Employment or something. Yeah. I know it was Ministry of something. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the ministry.
Stasia's having internet. Yeah.
And I'm going to throw it in the chat. Or Crystal, would you prefer I send it to you privately?
send it privately.
I'll do that
Please.
instead then. Yep. So it's going to be the Ministry of Labor, and I just pulled up a general website for Saskatchewan. From there, you should be able to find your local representative. Okay?
Yeah. Like, I have worked very closely with loss prevention or asset protection, whichever way you want to put it. I have worked closely with them for the majority of my 24 plus years with the company in different aspects. So I do know that part of it. This is just, and I've had issues with harassment before, and it has gotten dealt with. It just seems a little slower this time, and maybe that's because I've got so much else going on that although the one guy that was really harassing me, it was almost a year of him constantly, and finally I had talked to management on the store level enough, and I knew the district manager at that time, and he came down, and I said, look, this is what's going on, and I have talked to management, and it still doesn't seem to be being fixed. I said, I'm getting tired of it, and I'm to the point where I'm about ready to go higher up. And literally the next week, that guy was gone. And he was constantly asking, what's your last name, Crystal? What's your last name? Because we don't go by last names at work. And I kept telling him, I'm not telling you that, not telling you that. Why do you want to know? Well, I just want to know. Well, not good enough. And a couple of years later, he ended up moving a trailer in and moving it in just down the street from me. And I'm like, oh, goody. But I don't have anything to do with them anymore, so.
Well, anything on anybody else's mind before we wrap it up?
No, my housemate's meant to come back today. I haven't heard from him, so he might not. So
okay.
Maybe. Other than that,
So
it's all good.
the person that was walking around wasn't him?
No, that's my kid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Making some Vegemite toast.
Right on.
Made a pretty awesome dinner. Sorry, go ahead.
I know you go.
I was just gonna say I made a pretty awesome dinner, and I'm so happy I can cook again. I got to make Middle Eastern last night, and I made Thai tonight. So freaking good. Basically, it's pad kra pao, and that translates to holy basil chicken, and it's amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Okay. So I needed to share that. I'm super excited. So
Sending this all to us. It's not amazing that you overnight it or something, or
I could send recipes to everybody. It's super simple to make.
I won't do a Minnesota goodbye. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, Rebecca.
Good night, everyone.
And I'm super excited about this peer support agency stuff.
I'm super excited for you.
Thank you. I like the idea of like sharing the journey,
I like it too. Yeah.
I don't know. There's something that's kind of like, oh, it's nice to have people who, first of all, who care. And second of all, to just sort of check in with. It's almost like a board of directors or something, like
board of supporters.
Yeah. So if I ever come out with something that's just completely outlandish or ridiculous, I would love if y'all would tell me.
Oh, Terra 2.0, because the other version was 1.0, but now you're past that. But tonight's
Here, show.
your Discord server thing, right?
Yes, yeah. The meeting time was moved to 5:30, so it's in 2 hours from now. Everybody's invited. It's a face-to-face meeting on the Terra Smiling Discord server, and I hope to see you there. It's a fantastic meeting.
Right on.
I'll try.
I haven't gotten the Discord thing figured out at all. It sounds amazing.
I like
I've never done the meeting thing.
I like that it's private. It's not. I love these YouTube meetings, but I think people tend to share a little more sensitive information because it's not recorded. It's private, and you don't have to go on camera either if you would rather just. Or sometimes I've had people come in and just listen. Not recently, but sometimes people just come in and want to hear voices.
Yeah.
Like, I mean that, you know how I mean it.
I
But I will tell you this,
I'm
Carol.
sorry.
Her server, it's so easy. There's no weird sign-on thing or anything. You just go there and yeah.
That might change eventually, just as a heads up. And there, it's a kind of like the wild, wild west because I'm new to this whole having a Discord server thing, and we're figuring out ground rules. We just figured out some ground rules for the meeting space, and I'm considering creating some more ground rules, kind of like the lifeboat has their set of rules.
No politics would be a good one.
Yeah, politics, religion.
Yes, all of that. That's always a good ground base for everything. No politics, no religion.
Yeah, that might have to happen. So I'm working on it. It's a tiny, tiny server. It's a tiny, tiny meeting, but it's fun and very intimate. So everyone's welcome.
Lovely people.
Yeah, it's easy to sign on to. There's no weird. You have to do this and that. And so yeah, if you're wanting to get possibly under Discord, figure out how it's like. Her server's a great one to learn on because there's not a gazillion things you have to do, and make sure
it's not a whole bunch of channels.
As you hit this button and you hit this button and you stick your tongue out and look for the dog print or something or whatever.
Can I just say that the Lifeboat Discord has that whole verification process to keep it a safe space, and so that we know that people coming in are crew members and they're going to be safe people. As far as I'm aware, no one's been blocked so far because of that.
Okay.
Yeah, like people have left of their own accord, and that's free to do. Everyone, that's fine. But no one's been blocked as far as I'm aware because it's a safe space, and that's the whole reason for the verification process. But I do understand that it is difficult. Yeah,
makes total sense.
I couldn't get it. Yeah.
And Carol,
if anyone needs help.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that same thing. Cosmic, I've heard you talk about if anybody needs support with Discord, and I'm certainly not trying to. It's like if you're the Discord guru, you probably know so much more about it.
No.
I just want to offer support, Carol. If it's ever something that you want to dip your toes in the water, kind of like check it out, I also want to offer my support to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know you're super busy, so no pressure or anything. I'm just throwing it out there for you.
Right on.
I'm gonna say good night. I probably will not be on tomorrow because I'm on my way to Kim's. So.
Good. I like the way you smiled when you said that. That's great.
This is my third weekend going and just hanging out. It's helping me get through the weeks, as stressful as they've been. So yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Say hello for us.
This too shall pass, Crystal.
Yeah.
It's a hard time that you got to get through.
Let's just hope it's sooner rather than later.
Yes, definitely hoping for that. Yeah.
So, but thank you very much. I'll see you guys later.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.
So, okay. I can't drop a link, but I think you can search Tara Smiling's server. Okay.
If you you can probably put the invite in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
You can do that. You can totally do
Okay,
that.
I just joined. I just joined. So
Yes.
okay, I can do that. I'm gonna write that down because I don't want to forget it.
And for I set it up to where, the welcome new members I set it up to do 2 at a time. I should have done it 1 at a time. So if anybody got ignored in the welcome to the Facebook page, the next time somebody joins, it'll be there. I don't know how to fix it. I've been looking it up on Google and it's gotten me nowhere. I don't
Is
know
that
how
automatic?
to fix it.
I always thought, is that automatic?
Yeah, it is. But it's something that you set up in the beginning. It's something I set up in the beginning and not really knowing what I was doing. And I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to find it to fix it to where it's 1 person at a time.
Yeah. Well, that's
So I don't have to wait for however long for the next person to join so that that person can be acknowledged. You know what I mean?
Sorry. I'm so sorry I'm coughing. I've been trying to drink Pepsi to try. Apparently, it clears phlegm and stuff. I don't know if that's true, but yeah. So I've got this huge big thing, and I've been coughing and sneezing, and I do this whole big I don't know, 3-minute sneeze. It feels like, which is really embarrassing when you're in a shopping center. But yeah. So I'm sorry if I'm coughing a lot in people's ears.
It's all right. It's okay. I'm sorry you're having to cough a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, gotta go have that CT on my lungs. Just gotta find someone that bulk bill so it's not a $300 bill straight up. It'll be free.
Yeah.
So
okay.
But yeah. Anyway, I love you guys, and
Love
I'll
you too.
see you hopefully
Love
tomorrow.
you too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's my cue. I'm gonna roll out too. But pleasure as always.
Good to
I
see
always
you.
likewise. Thank you so much, and I will drop that link in your.
That'll
Facebook
be great.
group.
Yeah. Yes, please.
And awesome. Thank you for offering that space.
Yeah.
And then I will hope to see you all soon.
Okay.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Well, here's a useless fact for you.
Good. I like those.
When you're dreaming, you don't dream about math typically, and that's because math is stored in the prefrontal cortex. It's what in your brain, it doesn't shut off. It's just it gets less electricity. And that's the reason why a lot of your dreams are weird things, because your reasoning center, if you look most times, I mean, most people don't dream about seeing words, but if you have a dream that uses a newspaper, if you look at it, if you remember to look at it in a dream, chances are it'll just be a jumble of letters.
Okay.
That's part of that. And yeah, so that's and sleep paralysis. That happens when this starts to kick in, but the chemicals in your body are still there to keep you locked down. So yeah.
Cosmic says she can see words if she's got a newspaper in a dream. She says she can.
Are they spelled right? Because that usually means that your prefrontal cortex is kicking in, and you're probably on the edge of waking up or falling asleep.
Okay.
But yeah.
Interesting.
But math is a higher function. So
that's a fun factoid. Good to know.
But anywho, I hope you have an awesome day. I hope the donkey's doing good and all that kind of thing.
Right on.
You have an awesome day.
You too, Ben. Thanks, you guys, for being here. It's a wonderful community. I love being a part of it. Hope to see you again next meeting. And until then, get this queued up here. Peace, y'all.